Hey guys, I am redoing the video that I did earlier. I found, as you guys noticed, I was kind of struggling in the other video because there were some areas of the article that were written very strangely. and, and I actually was able to find a more concise, rewritten version of the article. So, and it had better details and was just more concise, easier to read. So I'm going to redo the video that I did earlier. This one's going to be for YouTube. So here we go. All right, so the topic of today's video is warning signs of victimization through someone's immunity. And this has to do with a topic that I cover thanks to Jessica Seymour, who basically has the most amazing website that saved my life, because we were finally able to put a name to this crime. It's immunity trafficking. Human trafficking is actually one of the most common secretive forms of trafficking out there, where half the time the victims don't even know that they're trafficked. A lot of these people have MK Ultra Monarch programming, and they are basically used as government sex slaves in a way, but they don't necessarily know there's a lot of life sabotage that goes along with it, a lot of orchestrated events. Many targeted individuals come from this system, and they're not aware of why their life all of a sudden has been flipped upside down. And then when they start looking at the patterns of their life, they can see that the patterns of sabotage go back like forever. So I'm going to read her article and go through it. I'm going to link the article below, and then let's get started. Okay. So I am currently a victim of someone's immunity, and unfortunately, so I'm trying to get help and trying to get out of all of this. So I'm just raising public awareness. Okay, so human traffickers that seek immunity job positions will repeatedly seek to paint you as a wrongdoer, because one of the ways to cover up their trafficking of you is to establish an erroneous investigation against you. This means that their tactics used to traffic you and abuse you are planned out in advance prior to attacking your life, and these immunity abusers cover-ups are planned with the aid of affiliated attorneys in ways as to facilitate making you look like the wrongdoer and giving them plausible deniability. But also it has given them an opportunity to circumvent your rights that protect you. If these corrupted immunity abusers get caught or think that you are starting to become aware of their stalking, they engage in calling you any type of threat that they can in order to circumvent your rights. These traffickers will put roommates in your home who will let people come in and out at any time when you're away, as to circumvent the due process of warrant gaining. Maybe you will be called a terrorist threat, so that these corrupt abusers can get a sneak peek entry to your home. And you may also be called a crazy threat to society, which facilitates many ugly things to be done to you through the loss of rights these human traffickers seek to gain by pretending that you are a danger to yourself or society. Yes, I've had all three. And now I have a dome of drones above my house, and I have my own personal paparazzi, and I'm like, a celebrity in the underground. It's amazing. It's actually horrifying if you don't have a sense of humor. Okay, these immunity traffickers will engage many different people to make erroneous accusations against you that support the attack that they make against you, your human rights and your protected constitutional rights. Okay. The human trafficking ring is also used by those who run it. Since the human trafficking ring is also used by American agents, by diplomats and ambassadors, by foreign agents when they're here in America, and by our American agents when overseas, this ring will engage in trying to traffic a victim of the Department of Defense employees. And my handler actually was one of them. Yes. When you hear about the Department of Defense advanced team engaging and abusing already exploited women in Colombia, you shouldn't imagine that these Americans then just stop that kind of behavior when they come back to the States. But since prostitution is illegal in America, as it should be, these Department of Defense agents have set up a ring to use, which they horrifically micromanage the victims that they sell without the victims knowing what is being done. The victims of immunity have no idea why such ugliness keeps interjecting into their lives. I've been a lifelong victim of this. I can trace this back to 6th grade, probably, maybe even before then. Yeah, anytime that I ever tried to go to college or school or move or I don't know, leave certain boyfriends that I didn't want to be with because they were abusive, I would be I would have massive terror campaigns run on me, massive gaslighting. I didn't know what was happening back then. In 2013, I had basically made a pact with myself just to not have any kind of anything unhealthy, and I got rid of unhealthy people, and that was apparently a big problem. And then I was put hardcore into the overt victims of immunity trafficking. It's basically sex trafficking. They use a lot of MK Ultra victims, a lot of beta mind controlled subjects, and unfortunately I'm one of them. So we already, but I have theta programming too, which is like the psychic programming. So we unfortunately have chips in our body going back years, and we can be easily brain manipulated, you know, as far as like with RHIC-EDOM, which is radio hypnotic intercerebral, and then electronic dissolution of memory. And it's basically when someone's asleep, you can activate them with radio tones. And then they basically are in like a 3-year-old state. They go to the door. A handler is waiting for them, and then they have all their code words and, you know, drugs and whatever. And when they're done with you, electronic dissolution of memory, it erases the memory, and then you go back to bed. So, yeah, I didn't find out about that until October. Yeah, maybe October of 2015. At that point, I didn't know exactly how certain events had occurred, and they did, and it was horrifying. And then I had a friend who actually wrote a book on this, and he's a victim of this stuff, and he's the one that had finally explained how it all worked. So, and he's pretty well known in this industry, and he said, this is what they're doing to you. He also explained that part of the immunity trafficking, there's also illegal medical experimentation and the brain initiative. And basically I've been sold into that too, where they've sold my brain to science while I'm still using it. And I was told too that I was put in the end-of-life weapons testing program. So I have all kinds of drones and radiation hitting me all the time. Apparently I was signed up for that in 2014. They had started that, and what it I had my handler come into my life during that time in January, and I got a call from my ex, who was not very good to me, and he facilitated a lot of this stuff. We lived together for 3 years, and he called me crying, which is very strange, and he said, "I'm so sorry. I did not mean for this to happen to you. I didn't mean for this to happen. I'm so sorry, honey. I'm sorry. I didn't," like, and I thought it was because he was cheating a lot. When we were together, like, he cheated with everybody, like everybody. And I thought he meant, like, because of that, and no, and other horrible things he had done. No, it was because he found out that I was going to be put into this horrific shit. So apparently he told lies about me when we were together. As far as my life in that town in Wisconsin, the whole time I was there, I took care of his kids, was a housewife, hung out with him, his family. My family was back in Chicago. I had a couple members of my family up there, but I never saw them. So I was basically, that was a process of isolating me. I had a lot of weird things happen up there, but we'll get into that in another video. I think my first video covered a lot of that. But yeah, so, all right. So that's some of the victims of immunity. I'm going to link the website below, and I recommend that you check the website, because it goes over all this woman's incredible. It goes over all the different types of immunity trafficking. And if you're a targeted individual, more than likely you're in the system also. So, all right, let's go into the signs of this. Okay. So number one, police accuse you of doing things that aren't a crime. Number two, men and women come up to you and know just what to say to make you feel familiar with them, as if they've had access to your recent phone calls or emails, or even if they've seen the outside of your home or office. Upon you not wanting to engage in any conversation with strangers that approach you, they immediately begin to call you crazy or make you feel like you're crazy. Yes. Upon doing standard business like giving your roommate a 30-day notice to leave, you get bombarded with abuse from them, especially when they start making derogatory comments about your emotions or trying to make you feel like you're crazy and oppressed from leaving. And this is a form of abuse known as gaslighting. This has also happened every time I've tried to leave or do anything in life, ever. I get this kind of shit. People and strangers seem to know things that you've never told them. Your transportation is being completely controlled in any way. Your transportation on foot, in stores, on the road. You have even had you have even just one control of your transportation made. What? Okay. You have even just one control of your transportation made controlled. You're being trafficked. Oh, okay. So any kind of control. And also what they did to me too, when they started this back in 2015, I used to, I ordered all my groceries to be delivered. I got like everything at Walmart, like, paper towels, toilet paper, stuff for the house. What they had done to me, because I had everything delivered and I worked from home, they put redirects on the website, on the Walmart website, on any of my regular shopping websites. They made it so it would redirect and wouldn't work. And then I would physically have to leave my house, leaving my house and dogs vulnerable. And and then they could gain access. It was hard to gain access to my house before. Only in the middle of the night could they get in because I was always home. Like, you know, I mean, I went to the store every Friday with my sister. We used to shop together. But other than that, like I'm a homebody. So they will redirect your normal websites to make it so you have to leave your house. Systematic and repeated ugliness of some sort. For example, date rape performed against you in a systematic way, like every 3 to 6 months. Police officers threaten you when you report rape or such significant crimes. You find hidden cameras in your home. Police make bewildering refusal to give you reports for significant crimes. You try to report like date rapes. I had that too. I try to report, you know, $5,000 in hacked devices and all of my communications being controlled and turned off in the middle of the night. I explained prior to me knowing what immunity trafficking was and that I knew that I had basically been stalked by this cult since 2010. I handled everything myself. I was very smart about how I did everything. But it wasn't until they took, you know, everything over in my house that I actually got scared and brought the authorities in on it. And it was like they wouldn't help. I actually had a police officer that I know. I had called him and said, hey, do you know of somebody, like someone's hacked all my stuff? Is there someone in the department that can maybe take a look at this? Do you have a resource in law enforcement that could just, I mean, I wasn't trying to like ask for any like major kind of help. I just, whatever, wouldn't help me. And then he called me up to follow up, and this is a family member, and follow up, and I, you know, I told him, and he told me that my business wasn't big enough, so nobody really would help me or care. I was like, wow. And considering that I probably made as much money as him, self-employed by myself that year, but my money apparently wasn't, my money and home and finances wasn't as important as his. Yes. So, yeah. So basically I found out that the officer running the smear campaign on me, they were closer than I thought, you know, people who I considered friends and family. But what's interesting is if I'm so crazy, he personally took me to go shooting at the shooting range. Now, if I'm like nuts, why would you have me like babysit your child and take me to the shooting range and go to the gym with me all the time and all kinds of other stuff? Like, this person was a friend. Like, I consider him a friend, not just family. He was a friend to me. It's just so fucking weird. So weird to me. Yeah. And basically he just, oh, she's crazy. I'm crazy. Yes. All right. So, all right. Police pretend to act as though you're not making sense. Get an audio recorder and use it always and fast. It is within your bounds to protect your fundamental rights with audio recordings. If the abuse has gotten so bad that it has become clear to people that people intend to lie about you and your mental capacity, then you do not have to tell abusers that you're audio recording. It may be safer not to let anyone know of your recordings. Make multiple copies and post them to online Dropboxes, and give a copy of your audio of your police reports to the FBI with the FBI with a copy of your paper report, unless the officer refuses to give you a report number, which you should ask for on the audio recording at the time of the officer's suspicious conduct. Do not expect his or her sergeant or chief to stop their abuse, and don't expect the FBI to stop the abuse either. Because when a network of human traffickers set up a major hub They are thorough and will keep your complaints on the same leash that they keep you on, unfortunately. You feel that monitoring and tracking of your menstruation is being made. For example, a roommate or friend makes odd questioning to you about when you get your period, or follows your receipts to see when you buy period products. These corrupt immunity traffickers seek to protect the rapists they sell you to by building in the defense in the cases that the rapist they sell you to by building in a defense in case the rapist ever does end up in court. The human traffickers plan their rapes around your period cycle so that if you're ever prosecuted in court, the rapist who paid for access to you will make the defense that you were a willing participant in the sex and that you wanted it due to where you were at your menstrual cycle. Some more egregious traffickers will seek to impregnate you as they intend to call you crazy in the future. I told you. As a way of farming children intended to be taken for their trafficking ring. And that's exactly what I've gone into. I've had, I don't know, 10, 15 different men ask me since 2012. They, like, within like a few days of knowing me, wanting to have a daughter immediately. I knew that these cult people were like insane, like perverted, leaning towards children people, and I thought maybe they wanted like a daughter for perverted reasons. I didn't understand the full spectrum of this whole thing. Yeah. Yeah, I have recordings of this, of giving birth to a special child. Some have even gone as far as telling me that that I'm fated, and I have this in writing, to recreate the line of Sarah and Abraham. If I did not have it in writing, it is insane. But these are the things that I've heard. Yes. So, irregular situations arrive that are provocative, as if to push your buttons. Irregular situations arise that are trying to force you into court. People file uncalled for lawsuits with wild accusations. Irregular amounts of foreign people and multi-language speaking people are in your life, and even if you break contact with them all over again and repeatedly, foreign people keep somehow interjecting themselves into your life because they use a lot of illegal aliens for this. A lot of foreign-born people from like Poland and Russia and Mexico, most specifically. Those are the ones that I've dealt with. Khazarian types. I mean, like, yeah. And I also had found out too that they specifically hire these kinds of people because they're easy to manage. And if they work for it, they get citizenship through the immunity traffickers, and then they can bring their families over and they're given a home. So they actually, while they're stealing American citizens' homes, you know, natural born women from here, while they're stealing our homes and disenfranchising us, they're actually getting, you know, basically everything given to them because they will do anything. So, yeah, not good. All right. An irregular amount of military people keep injecting into your life, especially in explicit, vulgar ways, demeaning ways, provocative ways, and sexually inappropriate and aggressive ways. This influx of military-associated people act like you owe them something. Yes. Irregular amount of tax, IRS, Treasury Department issues, or even Texas-affiliated people interjecting into your life as an effective way of concocting a fraud investigation as to human traffic you through, is to say you're making money off as an effective way of concocting a fraud investigation as to human traffic you through is to say that you're making money off of prostitution, though you're not a prostitute, that you're not paying taxes on. I had said this about Texas. I've had almost 80% of my perpetrators are out of there. I know that I frequently have found Lockheed Martin out of Austin, Texas, and on my network. I've had people from San Antonio, Texas, Austin, Texas, Dallas, Texas. God, going back, I don't even know how many years, threatening, trying to lure me out there. It's horrible. When I went to go pay my taxes in 2015, because 2014 it was my first year of making enough money to actually pay taxes on my business. Because before, I just kind of, like, my rates were way lower, and I was just like a housewife, and I did readings in the kitchen, but it wasn't like anything, like any big money making thing. It was like grocery money, and like cable bill money or electricity bill money, like things like that. So it was never like a big amount of money that I was making. And then I tripled my rates. I had a business manager who said, you're worth like way more than $35. So he or she said, why don't you charge $150 an hour? And I was like, that's insane. So I tried it, and people paid it. So, and I didn't, not everybody paid that for the readings, but because I still think it's kind of a lot, but whatever. So I had gone on YouTube, made a whole bunch more money, and I ended up making 60 grand my first year of business. And I was very, very excited to pay taxes and like see that on a tax form that I went from 1 year prior having $3 in a suitcase and nothing, to having a new house, a business that I built, a successful YouTube channel, successful everything, was able to go shopping and buy whatever I needed, groceries. I could get whatever I needed. And I never worried about money. It was the first time ever. And it was kind of exciting. And yeah, so I was excited. Well, I was doing all of my deductions, and because I was on YouTube and what I do is considered entertainment, I could write off all the clothes, I could write off all the makeup, all the jewelry. So every month I had done itemized list of everything, and I had saved it in the Mac computer, and I'd never worked on that kind of software before. And I go in there, and all my work was gone. And I didn't know what happened to it. So then I was like, oh, shit. So then I went and I did it again. And I saved it. And I pulled it up again after. And I knew it was saved in there. Well, the next day it was missing again. Someone went in and erased my tax information. And then it was like, I don't know, end of March, beginning of April. And like my entire computer, everything got hacked. And I was just like, I mean, it was the beginning of like insanity. And, so I wasn't able to pay I didn't do my taxes because everything had been like taken over. It was insane. Like they did a coup on my life. And yeah, so then somebody took all my previous tax forms that I had from years back and stole them out of my accordion file, and they stole my birth certificate too. So that was kind of what happened during that time. But I had heard that basically they were trying to disappear me and have someone impersonating me out there. And that's why every time I go on YouTube or I do anything public, I'm hidden away. Even on my on like my public records, my life, they have a different woman in all the pictures. I go in, I physically try to take control of it and change it, and it's not there. Yeah. So I'm being hidden away. I'm being disappeared. I don't know what this impersonator's doing with my information. I'm pretty much redirected and controlled and blocked from finding anything out about my stuff. They took over all my financial records. They took over my social media I had since 2008. Anything that would prove that I'm me. My lack of trust in even family members back home, not to lie and say that the fucking imposter is me. I mean, I'm at that point now where, you know, I don't talk to any of them. They all, you know, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of know what they are at this point. Everybody kind of had a hand in it, and they didn't really hide it during that time. So who the fuck knows if they'd even go as far as saying, oh, that's not Katrina. That's the imposter. You know, like how far is this going to go? Sorry, I'm on a tangent. Yeah. So who knows? Who knows how far this has gone, even behind my back? Who knows? All right. When forced into court, the judge acts to seemingly protect the person who got you into court, as if the judge is testifying and interjecting on behalf of the person who forced you into court, even in the face of your redeeming evidence. Evidence of these court issues goes missing from your home. Jewelry and other valuables go missing from your home, and not as if a robbery had happened, but almost like you misplaced it or lost it. Your passport goes, in those situations where jewelry, valuables, clothing go missing, that could also have to do with the imposter. Because I know that they do this where they'll take your jacket or your jewelry or some kind of identifying purse or something that you may carry and have her do something with your stuff on, and it looks like you as like an identifying marker. It's sick. Your passport goes missing or stolen. My birth certificate did. People constantly try to facilitate a roommate or tenancy with you, either through forcing you into financial distress or through luring you to live in a place or in a way that you're not used to or familiar with. Family and friends start to recoil from you as if someone has gone and scared them for alienation. Family and friends become mad at you for no apparent reason or engage in bewildering questioning of you, as if someone or some sort of credibility or authority has gone to them and changed their impression or opinion of you. Your successful patterns at work start to become cumbersome, as if to cause you to lose money or not be able to earn a paycheck. Kind relationships and affiliates at your bank, your creditors, and loan holders start to become abusive, and these people start to treat you noticeably and drastically different, making financial transactions unusually difficult. It's all about controlling your income and money. That happened to me also. All of your calls to businesses become very lengthy, and comments about needing to read a computer flag or note on your account, then you're transferred to people who say degrading comments to you for no reason, and sometimes comments pertaining to situations they should have no way of knowing. A constant bombardment of aggressive people interjecting themselves into your life at places you frequent where this has never happened before. an ex-partner or ex-friend shows up randomly at your place, and then something ugly happens to you after they leave or upon leaving, or they start like a really weird argument with you. Car accidents that seem to have a loud sound and small holes in the tire upon inspection. Insurance policy holders begin to give contradictory information, like misapplying payments or acting like they never received a payment that you may have even walked in and gotten a receipt for, like walked in and paid. After surfing the web or having a phone conversation, within a few hours or days, some stranger goes out of his or her way to make it known that this was observed or listened to. The majority of your positive, long-term, successful relationships start to simultaneously, all of a sudden, become oppressive or abusive, so much so that you start questioning what must have changed, or have you done wrong, and you know nothing has changed. You start to feel as though your food is being controlled, tampered with, or portioned out, or that your money to eat with is being micromanaged, either by a boyfriend or by financial holds being put on things like your paycheck or other financial stipends. She goes into the gambling method of human trafficking, and that will entail getting you to casinos that are on an Indian reservation to be facilitated. Since Indian reservations are sovereign nations, they have less in laws than America. A deliberate and calculated effort to circumvent laws are made through these casinos that are sprinkled all along the west coast of America, from one border to the next. Yeah, and I'm going to link the website below. So if you go into, she has a lot of like the top of the website is very busy. But if you want to read all about the different human trafficking methods, you're going to click on Methods of Immunity Human Trafficking. And then it'll have the whole list of, and she goes over everything. It's amazing. Okay. Here we go. Oh, we have a lot of comments. I had an article over this, so I didn't see any of the comments here. Did I have high marks in elementary school? No, I was basically sabotaged all through school. Mine is ritualistically abusive. So first semester I would do well, and then second semester began the terror campaigns, and that was always when, even as like a kid, my grades would be really good first semester, second semester it would be gone. So, all right, let me see, I tracked down there. Okay, guys. All right, well, I'm going to edit here. This one is going on YouTube. I'm talking, I'm getting kind of like, I'm having a hard time breathing from some of the, whatever the weaponry is that they're using. So I'm going to stop this here, but this actually is a very good video. Please, when I put it on YouTube, my YouTube is being basically majorly controlled, and I'm not getting hardly any views, only on like videos that the cult is watching that I obviously piss them off with. So if you guys can maybe subscribe to my channel on YouTube, I just started it, maybe share some of the videos, that would be awesome, please. So, all right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Thank you.